Here we are inside the Adria Severn 542. If we first come to the master switch just here, we can turn the 12 volt off and on just here. It will then give us the voltage of the leisure battery just above. We then have the water pump on just here. Water pump needs to be on so we can get water out of the taps and fill the boiler up if it's been drained. Beneath that we then have the master switch for all of the lights, and then they can all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. If we now come across to the other side of the caravan, we then have the controls for heating and hot water. So the top one up here is for the boiler on electricity. If we flick it up, we'll heat hot water to about 50 degrees, and if we flick it down, we will heat the hot water to about 70 degrees. If we do not have main supply connected, we can use gas. So before using this, make sure the gas bottle is turned on and that you've removed the flue cover. If we now flick up, again, heat the hot water to about 50 degrees, and if we flick it down, it will heat hot water to about 70 degrees. If it fails to light, a red light will pop up in the window like it has done just now. If that happens, turn off, turn back on again, and it will then try again. It sometimes will take a few goes, especially when you've just put a new gas bottle on, as it needs to purge out the air. But as you can see now, it's lit and it's working as it should. When you turn it back off again, you will hear a click as the boiler turns off. Beneath that, we then have the controls for the electric element in the fire. To use this, we have an inner dial that will control the temperature, and then we have an outer dial that will pick the power. So if we flick it up, we are now using mains electricity using 2 kilowatts. If we then flick it back down to off and then down again, we're using mains electricity at 500 watts. And if we flick it down again, we're then using mains electricity at 1 kilowatt. So this is just dependent on the ampage of the site that you're on to stop yourselves from tripping. To use the fire on gas, we just need to come to the unit itself. And then if we turn, it will then start to tick. And then when we hold down, it will then light. When we let go, we can usually hear a whoosh. We can also peer for the pilot light just in this window here. If you turn this and you don't get the ticking noise, it may just be that the battery needs replacing for the igniter, and that is located just here. Regardless of whether we are using main supply or gas, this part here controls the circulation fan that will then blow the warm air out of all of the air ducts. So we have a top dial which is fan speed, and then an outer dial that turns the fan on. We need it on M for manual. A is for automatic and will not work on this model of van. If it's just a warm day and you just want to circulate the air, we can put it on this one here. Next, we have the location of the 12 volt fuses, and also, if I just remove this last infill, the boiler as well. So the boiler just sits here. To drain it down for winterization, it's drained on this yellow lever here, and all we need to do is make sure that the water pump is turned off and then flick it up. To refill, flat back over as it is now, fill up your aqua roll, drop the submersible into the aqua roll, turn the water pump on, and it will commence refilling the boiler back up again. Also in here we have the control board for the PowerTouch motor mover, and then the battery charger and 12-volt fuses. You will also find wherever there's a gas appliance, there will not be a gas tap too far away. It is in the on position at the moment, and that's how it can stay. I always say if you smell gas in the van, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. Next we have the location of the microwave. I do always suggest removing the plate for travel so it stops it from bouncing up and down. We then have quick start, stop, etc. Defrost. We can just rotate for time as well. The microwave is plugged in just here. We then have the hob just here, and that is literally push in, twist, and then press the igniter. And then we have the oven just here, so that is just push in to the left for the oven, and then push in to the right for the grill. The Thetford fridge operates on this square just here, so if I now hold it in I can turn the unit off, and then if I press it again I can turn it back on again. If I now start pressing this button, it will go over a series of different icons. This is an automatic fridge, so if you are on A for auto, it will find the best power source it can for you. So because we're hooked up to main supply, it's put us directly onto mains electricity with a little picture of the 2-pin plug. If I now went outside and removed the mains, it would then automatically attempt to fire itself up onto gas. And as soon as you hitch up the caravan, it will then automatically flick over to 12-volt maintain to keep itself cold whilst on the move. We can take it out of auto and we can put it manually onto mains. We can put it manually onto 12-volt maintain. We're going to get an error code at the moment because we're not hitched up to anything, and I can manually put it on to gas. But auto is the easiest one to have it on. Temperature control just here, and then open and then hold square back in to turn off. We then have the 2 bunk beds, and the ladder's just here, which just hooks onto here and here. We then have the dinette just here, and we also have another set of bunk beds. If we are going to make them, we need to remove this table. And then once we have removed the table, we then just need to take the cushions out of the way. And then once we've done this, we then are left